I firmly believe that history will show February 21st, 2022 to be a dark moment in Canadian history. The House of Commons has ratified the invocation of the Emergencies Act by a margin of 185 to 151. This act has never been invoked before since its inception in 1988. Its predecessor, the War Measures Act, was only used on 3 occasions in Canadian history. Once during World War I, again during World War II, and then later in 1970 during the FLQ crisis, which involved the fatal kidnapping of a cabinet minister and was subject to much criticism at the time. Now our Prime Minister and his cabinet have invoked the Emergencies Act, and there is no emergency in Canada that warrants anything near the invocation of this act. This is effectively the entrenching of dictatorial powers in the Prime Minister's office. Now, I don't want to be fear-mongering or spreading doom and gloom. This is simply the facts, and we need to understand what we're facing. Again, make no mistake about their intentions. This is not about breaking up a trucker convoy or stopping the blockade of a bridge. As a matter of fact, none of the measures outlined in the Emergencies Act were necessary in order to complete the ending of these blockades. The Ambassador Bridge blockade was broken up and ended long before the Emergencies Act was invoked, and the plans to stop the blockade of the Parliament Hill and Ottawa were already done and drafted and did not need the Emergencies Act to be completed. This was the most peaceful and largest outpouring of public support for a cause in living memory in Canada. There was no violence. There were no serious incidents to report during the 4 weeks of the convoy or the 3 weeks in Ottawa. The entire media narrative has been spun and respun in order to create a narrative of insurrection, occupation, and criminality when there was none. This Emergencies Act was invoked in response to bouncy castles, late night parties on the Hill where there were no incidents reported, and people parking illegally on a road, according to the City of Ottawa. None of the things that have happened over the last 4 weeks in any way, shape, or form come remotely close to warranting a response such as the Emergency Act allows, and what they have pursued since then by freezing bank accounts, doxing people, trying to track down grandmas that donated $25 to a lawful cause. This is unconscionable. And we must understand that this system is corrupt to the core. This Emergencies Act invocation is simply a smokescreen for flushing out all dissidents and those that might resist the current government's goals and plans. That's it. We are in a serious situation in this country. We must pray. We must seek God for godly leadership and find a way forward, whether that's through passive resistance or other ways, to exit this system that has become nearly irreparably broken. It does not represent the people. It does not represent the wishes of the people, nor does it represent the rule of law. It is entirely unconstitutional and illegal and unlawful. The very behavior that they project on peaceful people is the behavior our government is engaging on an hourly basis as the days progress. This must end now. The Emergencies Act must be revoked, and we must move forward as we return this country to the rule of law and principles that recognize the supremacy of God.